Hi guys, so I just want to show like a way of doing reverb, like a cool technique that I found. So let's start it off here. Let's play this. This is without reverb. So なんてくだらないわ東に聞こえるくらいに今はだんな話で That's what it sounds without reverb. There's this technique that I found. I won't say it's from me. Uh, but yeah, I think this is like a really nice technique for those of you who want to like try mixing. This is one of the few things that I found that really, I think, improved my usage of reverb. So for this one, I'll just use like I generally use Pro R3 for reverb, but we'll just use the built-in plugins for now. So I'm going to add Fruity Reverb. This is the normal plugin from FL Studio. So right now I have my leads chained into a different mix bus. So this is connected to here while it's still connected to like the main vocal bus. Because what I want to do is this one will only control the wet signal. So everything that goes into here and then it goes out as just full wet signal of the reverb. Wet and dry basically means leads go in, that's the dry signal. Wet is basically with effects. So 100% wet means it's just gonna be fully reverb. So this is what it sounds like, just like this. So generally, what I used to do is I would just add a reverb and then I would control, basically this is the dry signal, this is the wet signal. I would just control this as like the wet signal. So I can like lower this, which was fine. It worked. But I found like a different way of doing it. So what I like to do is first I add the reverb, and then now what I do is I'm going to use a EQ tool. Let's use parametric EQ2, which is from again from Fruity FL Studio. So I'm just gonna do a low pass. Oh wait, no. I'm just gonna do a high pass here and a low pass here. I want to basically only get the frequencies that I want for this reverb. This is basically a low cut and a high cut, which you can like put in here. These two are low cut, high cut. But what you can do instead is use the EQ, because the EQ will show you like a more detailed frequency range instead of like just using knobs. So I want to like basically I'm looking for which frequencies are more resonant in like this part of the vocals. So like let's say let's say I like this one, right? So this will depend on your vocals. This isn't like, oh, just put this EQ here. No, they'll depend on your vocals, like what tone you're singing in, of course. But for this specific song and the current tone that I'm singing in, I think this one works. Like generally right in the middle of like your whole frequency range that you're singing feels nice, just as a general rule. But like I wouldn't want to use that as like an ultimatum. Just use whatever sounds nice to you. So now it sounds a bit better because like the low end isn't like muddying up everything with the reverb, right? So having this, that's already sounding really nice. And then what I do next usually is I would add a limiter. Basically I'm just gonna use Fruity limiter here. This is actually what I will use. I will go to compression and then I will sidechain the lead. So what is that gonna do? Basically what sidechaining is that it's inputting the signal of the other source into this plugin and using that as a reference to do its plugin things. So like for this one specifically, it's compression, right? So we're going to compress, basically lower the sound of the reverb while if the other signal is going in. So while the leads are going in, so this while the leads are going in, it's going to lower the sound of the reverb just to a sound that we find good enough that it doesn't like overpower it, right? We don't want like us to sound like we're in a big ass hall that doesn't have any sound treatment. So generally what I like to do is I would put the threshold around down here. Like I don't want too much reverb. I want the reverb to just be like there in the background. But then I would also put the ratio to 4. This is what works for me and my voice. You can try to figure out what settings would work with your voice. I usually don't touch knee. I will not touch attack and sustain. The only thing I would touch is release, just in case like if I want like any delay or if I want the reverb to be more in line with the lead vocals. The release is what I will fix around with. なんてくだらないわ冷やかしに聞こえるくらいに今はだんな話でどうしてもっとあの子みたいになれないのって頭それ So this is generally what I do for my reverbs now. It works really well for me. If it would work well for you, then that's great, you know. なんてくだらないわ冷やかしに聞こえるくらいに今はだんな話でどうしてもっとあの子みたいになれないのって頭そればかしなんてくだらないわ冷やかしに聞こえる